way too many women, when they get pregnant, they start to research. The first thing is to research on outfits for the baby, cribs for the baby, bassinet for the baby, the bottles to use, the soap to use, everything else that comes around on the internet or on the social media or on Google or everything else that is very insignificant. That's what a lot of women, that's what I have seen a lot of women like pay attention to. Is like the outfit research, the crib research, the stroller research, the bottle research, the pump research is like too overwhelming. And none of this is very essential, especially when the baby is here. None of this is very helpful even before the baby is here. And I think that this women need education. Women need to be educated, to be empowered about what is really essential when you are pregnant or during pregnancy. What is really important? It is not the outfit. It is not the crib. You might be surprised that when the baby finally gets here, the baby is not interested in the crib. You might have spent a whole lot of money to buy that crib, that dream crib that you think your baby is going to instantly be attached to and is going to spend their night in. But that's not true. Your baby would be really interested in lying on your chest. Your baby would be interested in lying on your lap. Your baby would be very interested in being cuddled in your arms, okay, or your spouse's arms, or somebody else who is your birth support person, right? So it is really important that all of these things shouldn't be the first thing to do. It might also surprise you that all the outfit, because babies come in their own weight. Some babies come and they start to lose weight very, very quick. The first few days, they lose weight. And then they start to gain weight very, very fast, right? The growth sprout. It goes like that. And some babies too just maintain their weight, even though most babies lose weight the first few days, right? They lose weight, and then you buy so many outfits. Maybe you didn't even think about it, and you bought newborn outfit, you bought newborn diapers, a whole bunch of it, and just 2 weeks after the birth, the baby outgrows it. You can use the diapers. You can give it to somebody because there's nobody around you who has a baby or who has a baby who is older than your baby, right? So all of those things are very, very important to know and to also pay attention to. You will also be surprised that after you do all of that, you buy all the outfit, the baby might not be interested in all of those outfits. Or you yourself might not even be interested in dressing the baby up with all of those outfits. Why? Because I have seen that too in women. As maybe you, after your birth, or during your birth, you went through C-section and you are not really up to it because you need a lot of healing. You need to be, you need a lot of rest, and it's not really conducive for you to get up, dress up your baby, dress up yourself, and go out with friends, with family, and show off your baby. It doesn't happen like that, right? Or even some women who have not had C-section still would need some time to heal. If you tore during your pregnancy, maybe you had a first degree tear or second degree tear or third degree for some women, you would need some time to heal and to recover and to um, rebalance the hormones that have been dysregulated, right? So it is very important. There are so many things to do without really researching on the cribs, on the bassinet, on the outfit, and all of those things. Those things can be done after the baby is here. Those things can be done right on the day, even when your baby comes in. There's diaper outside in the store. You can go and grab it. But what if there are some other stuff that you need to do that you've not done? That might be like something that might cause you a little bit of trauma, God forbid, during your pregnancy, during your birth, and then also in postpartum, because I have seen it. And then there is a whole lot, especially during the birth, and then postpartum as well, because women prepare only for this kind of things that I have mentioned, and then forget about the realities of birth, and then the realities of postpartum, because postpartum is a long time. Actually, pregnancy is only for 9 months for some women, and then 10 months for some, or even shorter for some other women, right? And then the birth is like 3 days for some, less than 3 days, 1 day, 24 hours with that. And that's the intense part of it. But the postpartum, that is what takes longer. It takes a little bit longer for every woman, and it depends on how your postpartum is. Some women's postpartum lasts until like 2 years. Some women's postpartum last until 7 years. Because I, for instance, when I had my babies, they are twins, I feel like I am just starting to come out of that dysregulations and what I used to like be in my routine as myself. Like, it is taking me a whole long time to readjust, and to also readjust them into my life, and then for also them to really learn me. So it is hard, it is long. Even for some women, it is more than that. And some women decide to breastfeed for 3 years. How about that? So it is hard. That is the time we have to prepare. Not the cribs, not the outfit, not the bassinet, not the strollers, not the bottles, none of that. All of those things can be done right as they come. But how about that pregnancy that maybe you want a blissful pregnancy? Maybe you want to have a baby who really has a sharp brain and understand everything. We are always talking about IQ and all of that. How about that? And then also you want to have a blissful pregnancy, a pregnancy that is God-centered. Everything that you do is like you give it to Him, Allah, and you are preparing towards that. And all of those things that you are preparing is like, okay, this is the du'as you want to recite during your birth. This is what you want to do, your nourishment plan. Everything, those are the important things, because without those things, especially the nourishment plan as well, healing becomes hard. Healing becomes hard no matter how you give birth, whether you give birth through belly birth or you give birth through vaginal birth. It is hard. Healing is very important. You need to heal. So how is your nourishment plan going to be? Those are the questions you need to ask yourself, not those outfit, because let's face it, like I've said. So these are some easy 7 ways you can help to ease up or to prepare towards the practical aspect, the realities of being a mother. Because moving from pregnancy to birth to postpartum is not an easy thing. It's a big transition. Very big transition. Even moving from high school, like in our own reality of life, moving from high school to college is like a big thing. How about bringing forth a human being in this world? Like bringing forth a human being who is totally a stranger, even though that baby has been in your belly, in your womb for how many months, and then also it is part of your cells, it is part of your genes, but it is total stranger to you. You don't know that baby. The baby doesn't know you. Totally. They don't know you. Okay? You are going to learn to know each other. You are going to learn to incorporate each other's into your own life. You are going to learn a whole lot of things about each other, right? And then with everything that comes with this, you also are going to readjust your marriage. You are also going to your marriage is going to be different, because before it is only you and your spouse, right? And then now you have a total stranger that's a baby, that's part of you, that's part of your spouse, and that is something huge, right? So you are going to learn how to readjust, and with your spouse, and then with the baby, and then with yourself, and then with the outside influences that comes with it as well. So it is really hard. Please, women, please, mothers, if you're a first time mom and you don't have anybody to tell you this, or you cannot even hire a doula like myself. I'm a doula. I help and support emotionally, physically, and mentally women who are birthing and women who are going through pregnancy or the trying to conceive journey in the postpartum. So if you're interested in working with me, you can as well send me an email, or you can send me an email on the Nourished Muslimah at gmail.com, or you can check me out on Instagram, the Nourished Muslimah, the Nourished Muslimah. Okay, all right. Or you can, I am gonna link my Instagram profile in the description. You can hook me up on that as well. But coming back to the topic, so this is it, right? This is it. There's a whole lot of learning to do. It is not all of those other things that people make it to seem. And then after that, when you get in, it becomes like, whoa, what do I even know about myself? Let alone know about birthing, because there's a lot to know. I have made a video, it was a live video that I have shared about hospital policies and stuff like that. And I've also shared why you need to hire a doula if you need to. So you can check that out as well, and I'll also put it in my notes to link it down in the description box. So those are the things, right? The books that you need to read. What book have you ever even read to prepare yourself for this beautiful, sacred journey that is very unpredictable? Very, very unpredictable, right? Both pregnancy, birth, and postpartum are all unpredictable. So what have you prepared yourself with knowledge? How are you empowering yourself in this area? We always, like, once especially like women in the Muslim community, once, because it's encouraged in our religion, yes, but how are we preparing? Is it an empowered preparation, or is just that because everybody does it, right? So when we get to the marital stage and we are ready to get married, it's like, whoa, is the happiness of it, all of a thing, and we miss that opportunity of empowering ourselves to learn what it is that you are entering into. Like, how are you prepared? The marriage, coming back to it. And then once we get into that, that's a topic of another day, and that is not even my specialty, so I'm not going to tackle that. But once you get into that, we start instantly to think about having a baby, or the pressures from outside, the external pressures. When is she going to give birth? When is she even pregnant yet? Oh, her belly looks a little like big. Maybe she's pregnant. And then all of those speculations, and then the pressure from the in-laws, and then the pressure maybe from your family as well. It becomes a little hard. But how are people preparing you? You ask yourself that. If nobody's preparing you to that reality, forget about all of those things that people are saying. and start preparing yourself, because really there's reality in it. It's not all roses and bows and beautiful things and smelly scents. No, it is not all of that. There is difficulty, because Allah told us in the Quran. It says everything that comes with difficulty, at the end of it, it is ease, right? After every difficulty, there's ease. And I'm telling you, there is no ease in the beginning. You're going to face a little bit of obstacles. You're going to face a little bit of test. You're going to face a little bit of challenges. And that is not to say that everybody faces, but in your own way, you're going to face something. But how are you preparing yourself when those challenges, when those obstacles, when those tests come? What are you ready for? So that that ease that Allah promises us for becomes easier. How are you preparing it? Right? So it is very important. I wish every woman would take her time to really actually absorb information. Not just information from the internet, but information from good books, good authors, reliable teachers, not people who just share stuff without nothing. But pay attention to these people who are sharing those information that you need to absorb, to make it part of you, to start learning, to unlearn, and then learn. To start learning, to unlearn, and then learn. Because we have learned a whole bunch of stuff. And those bunch of stuff, a lot of it, 90% of it are not good. They are not good at all. So we have to take our time to unlearn those things, to throw those things all away, and then start learning what we need right now. Because now is the internal learning, is the intrinsic learning, not the extrinsic learning. The extrinsic learning is all what the environment and the society has thrown to us. But the intrinsic learning is what your soul, what you yourself are yearning to learn and understand. So it's going to be stamped in your heart, in your mind, that this is what you learned. That is when learning becomes education. That is the actual thing. And then once you grab that, it is going to take you far. It's going to really help. At least 5% of what the hurdles is going to be would be easier. At least. So this is the time. If you are a first-time mom, or you know somebody who is a first-time mom, or trying to get there, or whatever it is, this video can be very helpful for that person. Please don't forget to share it to them, and then also share it in your groups as well, your WhatsApp, your Telegram, everywhere you engage, for other women to benefit from, inshallah. So the 7 things that I wanted to mention, one is, I have mentioned it already. One is the research. What is your nutrition going to be? I'm also a nutritionist. I can also support you with your nutrition plan. And then also, if you are trying to conceive and you want to make sure that your nourishment and your nutrition is all intact, you can as well contact me, and then we can move from there. All right. So how is your nutrition be? How would your nutrition be? How are you preparing to nourish yourself? How are you even paying attention to the main actual things that you and your baby needs? Because a lot of the times too as well, we forget ourselves and we think about only the baby. Only the baby needs brain boosting minerals and electrolytes and nutrients. Then we start to pay attention to all of those things without thinking about ourselves. So where is the baby? The baby is in our belly. I keep saying belly. It's in our uterus, right? If our uterus is not nourished enough, if our uterus is filled with all the junk, do you think that baby is going to survive those kind of junk? Mm-mm. Do you think that baby is going to do well nutritionally? Mm-mm. Even emotionally, when you are emotionally depleted and your baby is in your uterus, do you think your baby is gonna like really make it with the emotions and everything that goes on? No, he's not. He's gonna absorb all of those negative emotions, and that is gonna translate, Allah forbid, translate when the baby comes out earth side. So making an empowered effort to start empowering yourself towards the big transition, towards the big life that is going to change is essential. Is really essential. All right. So first is to like really pay attention to all of those things. And then second is to pray for you and your baby for easy pregnancy, because we have seen a lot of blissful pregnancies on the television, in the movies, on social media and everything else. But how many women come out to tell you that their pregnancies are not blissful? And I tell you what, 80% of women go through unblissful pregnancies in their first trimesters. In their first trimester. About 80, maybe a little less, depending on what literature or what research you are reading. Okay? But a lot of women go through that. How are you preparing yourself to actually manage when it does start, especially with morning sickness, especially with nausea, especially with cramping, especially with headaches, especially with fatigue? That is a big thing a lot of women ask me questions about. And then nausea too as well, morning sickness, especially in that. And then gestational diabetes. And then preeclampsia. All of those things. How many do you know? How many of these discomforts in pregnancies do you know about? And then when they arise, when they start to come up, how are you prepared to even help yourself and support yourself and advocate for yourself when your provider suggests something that you feel is different from what you are experiencing? Or what name do you even know about what you are experiencing? Some women experience stuff and they don't even have a name for those things. So how do you know that? If you don't know what you are going through, how can somebody else know and then support you with that? Like in your with your provider, right? Your provider can only do guessing work. And guessing work during pregnancy is not helpful. It's not helpful for you, it's not helpful for the baby as well. Right? So it is important to pay attention to those things. So first of all is to surrender and give it to Allah, because He in the first place made it possible that this happens, and your prayers and du'as are being answered. So give it to Him and surrender to Him. And then also make sure every time you pray, we have 5 prayers in a day. We have Fajr, we have Zuhur, we have Asr, we have Maghrib and then Isha. And then if you are up for it, we have Tahajjud or the Nawafils. You make sure you open your mouth and say dua for you and your baby and not forget about it. Whatever it is that you want, say it to Allah. And then imagine saying it 5 times a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year minus the 3 months. So that is a lot of du'as for you and your baby. And then your spouse, right? Your spouse can also engage in that and pray for. And then holding your belly to actually pray and then recite the Quran is very important. And that takes me to my second point. The second point is make the Quran non-negotiable. Make reciting the Quran, engaging with the Quran, bonding with the Quran a non-negotiable for you in your home, in the home that you are creating for your baby. Make it non-negotiable. Even if it is 5 minutes a day. This is a beautiful thing. Like, you are bonding with your baby whilst you are bonding and connecting with Allah, who made you and He's creating your baby as well in your uterus. This is wonderful. And then, do you also know that if you are having a girl, your girl, the girl that is in your uterus, that Allah is fashioning, creating, whilst you don't even do nothing, Allah is also creating your grandchildren in the uterus of your baby girl. Because baby girls are born with all the eggs that they would ever make. All the eggs that they will ever make in their lifetime, they are born with it. So whilst you are pregnant with your girl is also carrying her egg that she, inshallah, one day fertilize and did I say create? Astaghfirullah. Whilst you are pregnant with your baby girl is also being created by Allah to have all the eggs that she's going to inshallah fertilize and give birth to your grandchildren. How beautiful is that? How beautiful. This is such a beautiful thing. Right? So remember, it is not only about you, it's not only about the baby as well, it's also about your grandchildren, right? So very important to take this seriously. Making Quran non-negotiable. I have a Quran that I have shared again and again on my channel, and that is a translated Quran with the Arabic version and the translation, and then the word-to-word meaning as well. If you are interested, I have linked it under a lot of my videos, but I'll also link it here, inshallah. All right. So if you are interested, you can get that. And then recite, even if you are not able to recite the Arabic part. You recite the meaning and then connect and then understand, right? And then recite it to your baby. Make niyyah, make intention to do that as well, right? So you can check that in one of my videos. I'm going to link a lot of my videos too as well in the description box. I hope, inshallah, they are beneficial to you. Or the easiest that you can do is to always recite, turn on your phone or your iPad or your laptop or your computer, whatever you listen to Quran. If you are not somebody who listens to Quran, this is the time. Reduce the number of times music is being played in your home. Because I tell you what, the more music you listen to, the more it translates, because the energy that you get goes through your baby. It's translated. Because your amniotic fluid is a form of communication link between you and your baby. And then the umbilical cord is a form of communication tube between you and your baby, right? So whatever you eat goes through your baby. Whatever you listen to as well goes through your baby. It goes to your baby, right? So do as much as possible. If you are a music person, we know it's not a hidden fact. We know that Islam doesn't recommend listening to music. So this is the time to actually really reduce 50% or 30% of it, and then introduce 20% of listening to the Quran. How about that? That would be amazing. And imagine if you start doing this by the end of your pregnancy, that is a habit that you have formed already, because habit takes about 60 days to start forming, to start sticking. So 60 days is like 2 months into your pregnancy. And how beautiful is that, right? So that is it for reciting the Quran and then listening to the audio as well. That is really good, and that even helps you to memorize a lot of the verses of the Quran, whilst you are getting a lot of blessings and a lot of barakah in your home as well, right? So in as much as possible, make Quran a non-negotiable during pregnancy, especially, okay? Non-negotiable, whether it's in the morning, in the afternoon, in the evening. Choose one time that the Quran is going to play at least 30 minutes in your home whilst you listen to it, and then your baby is listening to it as well. All right, so this, if you see me looking down, I have a whole bunch of notes here, that's why. All right, so, and then the third point is it the fourth point? Yeah, prioritizing protein. So I have shared a video about protein and why protein is important. Protein is one of the 3 macronutrients that we have to pay attention to when you are trying to be pregnant, when you are pregnant, or during postpartum especially. So protein is what our body uses to build a whole bunch of muscles and then a whole bunch of hormones, right? So when you hear there's hormonal dysregulation and the hormones is not regulated, and there is muscle mass loss and all of that, those are all related to protein, your intake of protein. And research also shows us that when a woman is pregnant, her protein intake or her protein needs increases. Okay, conventionally protein, your protein intake is about 60 grams a day. But right now, there are a whole bunch of research that tells us that 60 grams of protein a day is really not ideal. It's not ideal. It's not ideal. It's not ideal for pregnancy. Okay? So taking about 80 grams of protein in your second trimester or before even you get pregnant. And then I know that a lot of women go through a whole lot of discomfort in the first trimester, so taking in protein would be hard. So how about starting it when you are trying to get pregnant? So you have a whole lot of stores, protein stores and nutrient stores in your body that your body can utilize whilst that time of discomfort is happening, so that you would not even worry about a whole lot of things. And then when those discomforts pass, you can as well start to up your protein intake and up it to 80 grams to 100 grams. 100 grams is ideal, and it's not really hard to do. 3 eggs is about 21 grams of protein. So easily when you eat 3 eggs in a day for breakfast, that is 21 grams of protein, because one large egg or a little maybe medium-sized egg is about 7 grams of protein. And then it has also choline that your baby needs for the brain development and also for a host of other things, right? So it is not you only upping your protein, you are also upping the nutrients that are very important, that are critical. If you don't eat those things from food, you will not be able to get it anywhere else except from food. So that is a big thing, right? So upping your protein is very important. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. Why? Because protein is very important for blood volume. And whilst you are pregnant, your blood increases like this, right? So you need the blood volume to increase. And a whole lot of things that you do might help, but especially eating protein is very important, right? And then also salt. Eating wholesome salt is very important to increase your blood volume. And then hydration, drinking enough water. So these 3 things, eating enough protein, salting your food and not depriving your food from salt, and then also water or hydration. Very, very important to increase your blood volume during pregnancy. So if you're doing all of those things, this is a big achievement. This is a big thing. And I applaud you for that. But if you are not, this is a time to actually pay attention to. If you need to work or consult with a nutritionist to help you and support you on how to plan your protein for breakfast and lunch and dinner, and then also your snacks, that I can do that, inshallah, like I mentioned earlier. All right. Okay, so protein is important whether you like it or not. Try as much as possible, especially during pregnancy. I mean, during breakfast. Breakfast offset the nutrients that you're gonna take for the rest of the day. So if your breakfast is not well balanced, it is not nutritionally focused, then it's gonna really dysregulate your hormones, and that might not even support you throughout the day and then support your baby as well. And if that keeps on happening every day into your pregnancy, you know what is going to happen, right? May Allah forbid, but we have to take responsibility of what we need to do, and then Allah supports us with what He needs to support us with. And then the last, before the fifth one, I think I'm missing like the numbers, but it's okay. Exercising, stretching your body, okay? Not exercising and lifting weights and doing all of those things in cardio, because cardio, even during pregnancy, is not really advisable. Like jumping and run and jumping all of those time, it's not really advisable except when your doctor approves of it. So if you are a cardio person, please remember to consult with your doctor or your midwife to make sure that they know about that, and then also they can give you approval for that if your pregnancy is a safe pregnancy, is not a high risk pregnancy or something like that, right? So that is very important. Being active, okay? Being active is such a beautiful thing that supports healthy pregnancy. Gone were the days when we hear somebody's pregnant and say, oh, this is a chair, come and sit. Like you are sometimes being treated like a royalty. Please don't let people treat you like that when you're pregnant. Don't. Don't let them treat you like a royalty. They can treat you the way they are treating you, but then there are exceptions. Sometimes you can do rigorous things, and then also when you're going through discomfort, you can do that. But take that opportunity to be active. Get up, move yourself, move your body, do a little bit of what you need to do, make your own breakfast, clean up when you need to clean up, get up and go for a walk when you need to, stretching your body, curb walking, especially like I sometimes say to some women who ask me like how do they prepare for labor. Curb walking, as easy as that. When you're working on the sidewalk, there is like the curb, right? You put one leg down and one leg up, and you'll be walking for at least 20 minutes. And then that helps to prepare your cervix. It also helps to prepare the area that you're going to like really open up to push out your baby. So that is very important. Like it is really helping to work out the muscles around that area. So when it gets to that time of pushing, it is not really tasking on your body. It's not really tasking on your muscles, because it's not a shock anymore. Your body has been doing that for a little bit, right? So your body needs to stretch. Your body needs to exercise. It needs that that friction, okay? That a little bit of friction and a little bit of pushback sometimes. So putting yourself against the wall and then pushing yourself like that helps as well. So make sure you are doing that. Any form of exercise is an exercise, okay? Cleaning, sweeping, vacuuming, that can help your heart rate to rise a little bit, to go up a little bit. All of those things are a form of exercises that your body would appreciate, and your baby will appreciate, and your birth would appreciate as well if you're trying to go the natural birth route. Okay, all right, or the physiological birth route. Okay, so these are what I think are, as a first time mom, if you don't know any of this is what I think like really can support you as a Muslim woman thriving to increase the ummah of the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, and thriving to be a noble woman and all of those things. So, and also start your own family and everything. The parenting is hard. Everything is hard. But once we empower ourselves with the right information, it becomes a little easier, right? And then with time, it becomes part of us. We become expecting it, even though we never become expecting parenting, but it becomes easier a little bit, right? So may Allah help us with that. I have some couple of books that I want to recommend if you are interested. So I mentioned about preparing for birth. So this book, In a Maze, Guide to Childbirth, is a wonderful book that you can read, even though there are some pictures that I don't approve of. Like, it's really open up pictures. It's not like a colored pictures book, colored picture, so you might ignore it. If you have younger kids in the house and stuff like that, you might want to take some papers and cover it up, and before a whole bunch of questions start to come up. But this is a great book. I have also recommended it in one of my videos, and that has a whole bunch of books that I recommend and why I recommend those books. And these are the books that I also recommend to mamas that I work with, and that I am hoping inshallah I would work with in the future. So maybe that will be you if you're interested in working with me. All right, so I also have it in my loan library. If you are my client, I also would loan these books to you so that you can read it and then empower yourself with education, with good information. And this one too is a good book. Amani Birth is a good book. It's about birth as well, how to prepare your birth. And then I have Birth Without Fear for the first time women who are afraid of birth, and then how to navigate through birthing and all the hospital policies and everything else. There is this book that explains a whole lot. And then if your nerve, and then your VBAC as well. So if this is your, maybe you had a C-section the first time, you had a C-section this time, you are trying to have a natural birth, a vaginal birth, it also empowers you with information that you might need to support yourself with it. All right. And then I have, this is for birth. And then I have nutrition books that I also, this book has been with me for a long time. This is Al-Ghazali on the manners relating to eating. Okay, so Al-Ghazali has a whole bunch of books, and this is narrated. Okay, he has a lot of books on manners, on parenting, on eating, on so many aspects of our lives. So this book tells you a whole bunch how like intuitive eating and all of those things are now research based. It is all from the Sunnah. And then now people are like discovering all the information and making them their theories and methodologies. But these are all from the Sunnah. So Al-Ghazali explains excellently intuitive eating in this book. And then also the sunnahs of eating and everything else. And it's wonderful. All right, for the women who are trying to like really up their knowledge on the sunnah of the prophet, and also Islamic knowledge as well. My favorite pregnancy book, The Real Food for Pregnancy, I reference this a whole lot. So if you are interested, it's a whole big book. Some schools use it as a textbook, and also a reference book, like a supplemental book. But it has a whole bunch of information if you are interested in knowing how to have a healthy, nutritionally healthy pregnancy. And then I have What to Eat When You Are Pregnant. This is also such a good book as well. It is very simple, simplified information. It's not hard to understand. It's not sciencey too much. So for the lay women, this is easy read. You can grab that as well. And then I have this for the women who are also trying to be pregnant. It's a similar book, similar author, but it's also a great book as well. And then with the spirituality and the prayers and everything, I mentioned the Quran and then also this book, okay? So parenting is not separated from being, once you are thinking about getting pregnant, your parenting journey starts, okay? You don't wait to have a baby before you start thinking about your parenting style and then how you want to parent your children. You have to have a solid information and solid plan on how you want to parent your children, what and what not, how and how not. Okay, so you know that this is what are your negotiables and these are not your non-negotiables. These are your non-negotiables. When this happens, you will not like succumb to that, or you will not accept that, and or this is what you need to do, this is what you don't need to do. All of those things, very important. But this is based on how the Prophet ﷺ treated kids around him. Okay, so it's very beautiful book. It explains a whole lot about his interactions and his day-to-day activities with kids. I really love this book as well. Heart Therapy is beautiful book. I have shared this one as well before. It is a book, like it's a tazkiyah book that explains a whole bunch of things. Sometimes when we are trying to be in that area of parenting and pregnancy and stuff, there's a lot of emotions, there's a lot of too many things that come from you, within you, and then from the society. So you might want to like really read something that uplifts your soul, right? Uplift your soul and give you some solace. Then this book is written by a fellow sister. I like the book because it's easy as well. It's simple. Excellent for the first time mom. It has some good information in there as well. Okay. And then for postpartum and breastfeeding is Breastfeeding Made Simple. I love this book. It has a whole bunch of information here. Okay. If you're interested, all will be linked in the description box. And then the fourth trimester. Okay, this is primarily for the postpartum period, but it does not address a whole lot of nutrition and the nutrition aspect of postpartum. I love that I love books that also address nutrition aspect of postpartum, because that is what really truly women need as well, because healing is very important. But this addresses like how to deal with the actual realities of postpartum, and then the birth trauma and all of those things is here. Okay, the fourth trimester is a good book. And postpartum depletion cure is more of a nutrition book. Okay, it tells you a whole lot about the nutrition aspect and how to heal, and postpartum depression, postpartum anxiety, the nutrients you need for all of those things. So this book is a good book. It's a gem. It's a gem, and it has a whole bunch of like if you're experiencing a symptom, how are you going to help yourself and support yourself without really going to see a doctor or something like that. It's written by Dr. Oscar Saralak, and I think this doctor is a naturopathic doctor. So he talks a lot about herbs as well, and then a whole lot about minerals as well. All right, so that this video doesn't get too long, I am going to end it here. If you have any question, please let me know in the comment section below. If you are subscribed, please make sure to give me a thumbs up on this video, and then also comment, and then make sure to watch the full video to give a more support for this channel. If you are not subscribed, please don't forget to subscribe, as subscription also helps with the growth of the channel. So until I see you next time, inshallah, be in the best of health and iman. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.